Hi guys, and welcome to the first video. So this video is all about my journey, why I made the decisions I made, and what the future looks like for me. So I am Meghna Kumar, and I did my master's at the London School of Economics, which was my dream university. So I did my undergraduate degree, and then like everyone else, I thought, okay, time to get a job now. Now, when I was on my job hunt, I realized that the job market is extremely at my dream university, which is the London School of Economics. Now, a bit of a background on me, when I was applying for undergraduate, I applied to LSE, I didn't get in. So I thought, well, it'll be an absolute dream through my master's there. So I applied to lots and lots of different universities. One of those universities was the London School of Economics for masters. I got accepted around April 2024, and it was just an unmatched feeling. I was like, I've made it in life. I've gotten into the best university, one of the top universities in the UK, and I was unbelievably happy. So I embark on my master's journey. Like anyone else, once the master's begins, it's always what's the next thing. So at first it's like you go to school, then it's like you get your degree, then you get a job, then you get married, then you have kids, and there's this whole path laid out for you. So it was the same for me. I started my master's, and the first thing that everyone was talking about was jobs. Do you have a job? Have you started applying? As my master's was in London, obviously the job application process was also going to be in London. Now, London is one of the most difficult job markets in the world. It's one of the hardest places to get a job, and not only that, my field is marketing, which is a very up and coming field, highly competitive now. So I thought, right, let me start on this job application stuff. So I started my search for and my journey with job applications in around October. So I was in the middle of my master's degree. I was balancing out job applications and doing my master's, and I started to apply. And it was all the usual stuff. It was the video interviews, it was the assessment centres. And I did, I would say, over 100 applications for jobs. And the great news was that I heard back that I got an assessment centre for Volkswagen. And I was really excited by this because I'm a big car person. So I went, I gave the assessment centre. I prepared for months on end for that assessment centre, staying up late, practicing interviews, practicing the group assessment, everything. I give the assessment centre, and I find out that I'm gonna hear back in a couple of weeks. So 2 weeks later, I get a phone call and I'm told that I got the job, and I was over the moon. I was absolutely over the moon. To get a grad job, and that too in London, I was just over the moon. Nowadays, that in itself is a really difficult thing to get, and I was one of the only people in my class that actually was lucky enough to be able to secure a job. So I felt secure, I felt safe. But I will say that there was a voice in the back of my head that was saying to me, Meghna, this isn't right. I chose not to listen to that voice. I chose to bask in the celebrations of getting this job offer. I chose to instead celebrate and be happy and feel like you do when you secure a job. You feel great. You feel like, okay, it was a 2-year rule, so I felt that, right, the next couple of years are laid out for me. But again, every single time anyone brought up the job or talked about it or asked me about it, I just had this small voice in the back of my mind saying, Meghna, this isn't right. Meghna, you're meant for more. Meghna, this isn't what you want. Again, I chose not to listen to it. Then, around the summertime, once my master's degree finished, I thought, let me have a look at what I can do. Let me have a look at business opportunities. And I discovered influencer marketing. I decided that I'm just going to give this a bash at running my own agency, because I always wanted to start something of my own, but my plan was to work for a few years in the workforce, learn everything I can, and then go and leave and start something of my own. So I thought, I'll take this degree and then I will go and get a job for a few years in a good marketing job, go and set up my agency, and that's me. So I thought, why not give this a try in the summer? Because I think that voice in the back of my head was starting to get to me as time went on, and it started to get a little bit louder and louder, and then eventually it told me, you've got to give this thing a go. So obviously I accepted the job offer, and in the summer I started to research influencer marketing because it's a booming industry. The content economy is expected to triple by 2030, and it's in my field. I obviously did my master's in marketing. More on that in future videos, but this video is all about my journey. My future videos, I'll be talking through my influencer marketing agency, how I run my day-to-day, how I got my first client, etc. So essentially in the summer, I started to set up my agency, and there was something about that feeling of building something of my own, of it being entirely mine and my own creation and my own creativity and growth that I just got addicted to. And suddenly, about a month into, I hadn't set anything up, I didn't have any clients, all I'd done was the initial stages, and about 1 month in, I took a massive plunge, probably the riskiest decision I've ever made in my life. I called up the job offer lady from Volkswagen and I said to her, I'm quitting, like I'm not taking this offer. And she was like, I can't even tell you the shock she had, because I think she had seen how passionate I was about getting a job, and even to her, she knew how the job market is. So I just remember her going, what? And I was like, yeah, this is the decision that I've made. And then she said to me, are you sure? We can defer you. You can start a year later. You can start 6 months later. And then I thought to myself, maybe that's a good idea. Maybe I can ask for a deferral. Maybe I can try this agency thing for a year and come back to it. Then that voice in the back of my head piped up and it said, if you have a backup option, you're not going to go all in on your agency. And I just told her, no, look, something else has come up and I can't take this offer. And she said, well, thank you for your time and everything, and we'll pass it on to the next person. And I can't even tell you the nerves I felt on that day. I did feel like I was doing the right thing, but I felt so nervous. I was like, what have I just done? So then in around September, I began properly starting up my agency. And the first 3 months were extremely difficult, probably the 3 hardest months of my life. I was working for hours on end, probably 10-hour days, just sending out emails, trying to get clients, making phone calls, messaging people on LinkedIn, and all I got was rejections. Just no, or what's your experience? Who have you worked with before? Obviously, I was brand new to the game, so I had zero experience, zero contacts, zero connections. And the first 3 months were just an absolute disaster. Every single day I questioned the decision that I made. Every single day I wanted to go back. And then 3 months in, I decided I've had enough. I can't do this anymore. And I actually left because I had a negative bank balance, I had zero clients, and I had nothing to show that I was actually successful. And I remember going to my master's graduation in December and thinking, what on earth have I done? Everyone knew that I got that job offer. I was one of the only kids in my class to get a job. And 3 months in, I have nothing to show for myself. And I walked away from a fantastic opportunity at a fantastic global company. And I was like, what have I done? I was really nervous for graduation because I didn't want to face people. I felt embarrassed of myself and of where I was. So I quit. And for 2 or 3 weeks, I pretty much did nothing. I wallowed in my sorrows. And then I decided to give it another shot because I just thought that I had nothing to lose at that point. I'd given up the job and I told myself that I was going to give this a year. Because I think anything that's good takes time to build. Everyone knows that. Rome wasn't built in a day, as they say. So I decided to go back to it and I thought, I'm going to stick this out for a year. And in a year's time, we're going to reassess. Worst case scenario, I can apply to jobs again. But I'm going to stick this out for a year. And here we are, just 6 months in. I've done $150,000 revenue at MK Influence. We're now a team of 3 and we have 5 clients. And we're only going to grow from here. So all I want to say is, it was so worth it. It was the best decision I've ever made. It has given me a sense of financial freedom that I never thought I would have at this age. And it's given me a sense of life freedom. I can work by my own hours. I can work anywhere in the world. I'm planning to go to Thailand for a month this year and work from there. And I'm my own boss. I don't listen to anyone. I listen to myself. And that is an amazing feeling to have at this age. It wasn't easy, but I'm so glad that I stuck it out. And it's been an amazing, amazing journey. It's been a lot of growth, a lot of challenges, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of rejections. I'm going to be going into more details about the actual day-to-day of what I do, of what my agency does. But this video is just a little bit about my journey. And yeah, we've got amazing things coming at MK Influence. And I'm absolutely delighted with the decision that I've made. And I would love to help other people to achieve financial freedom, to achieve life freedom, to start something of their own. And that's what this whole channel is about. It's about helping you guys. It's about sharing my story so that I can inspire and encourage others. So thank you so much for watching and feel free to join along in my journey and subscribe. Thank you.